Hello and welcome to an all-new episode of Anime Brain Freeze. We are your anniversary hosts.
I am John.
And I'm CC, and when there's just too much cool anime to watch, we've got you covered. Winter is here, it's freezing outside, John is indulging in his favorite pastime activity of shoveling snow.
Get out of here with that.
So let us warm your hearts with a couple of premieres from the new anime season in the sneak peek. And after that, we will review the long-awaited and dreaded third season of the former superhero mega hit, One Punch Man. But before all of that, there's a little bit of celebration in order. So bring the presents and party hats. Don't rush your production pipeline or that birthday cake might turn out to be a hollow mess. And definitely don't pause the pod. We'll be right back.
They try to hit you. They try to get you down and out.
So yeah, believe it or not, depending on when we release this episode or when you listen to this, it will soon be, or already have been, our 10-year anniversary for our little show. Hooray! Happy birthday!
Hey!
Cue weird squeak noise of party favors, horns, whatever they're called. I don't know if I'll edit them in there, but yes. I'm honestly surprised we managed to keep it going that long. How about you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, because I'm not going to lie to you. There's been some seasons and some shows where I'm just like, I don't know how much I realistically have to say and all this and whatnot. But I mean, we've managed to keep it going. And I think us doing the game stuff on the side every so often has given me some reason to keep talking. Because, I do still like watching anime, but I just always loved playing games. That's what I got into really first and foremost. Yeah. So, but I will still watch anime if it interests me. We didn't have much last season, but this season we'll get to that. Oh boy.
Yeah, we're gonna have so much. Especially, we're gonna have a lot of shared shows to talk about next season. Or whenever the shows that are premiering this season or returning this season are finishing up. Some of them might be 2-core shows. I don't know, but we definitely.
Yeah, there is one that I thought was a single core, and I was like, how are they going to do this in 12 episodes? Turns out it's going to be 2 core. So I was like, okay, so it'll have some time to breathe. I
want that to be Fire Force season, final season part 2, but I know it isn't.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. But yeah, so yeah, we're gonna have a lot more for you to anime stuff in the coming season or the one after that for you. But also game stuff, definitely. Like, speaking for myself, this is honestly the longest personal project I've ever stuck with. I dabbled a bit in YouTube, a bit of Twitch, a bit in game reviews, a bit in anime DVD reviews, but didn't stick with any of that very long. But this one is still trucking along, so
yeah, man, I have wanted to get back into streaming, whether it be on Twitch or YouTube, but I don't know when I have the time. I mean, the last time I streamed was 2 years ago, I think, when Super Mario Brothers Wonder came out, so it's been a second. Oh, it's a good one. You should get around to it.
No, I started playing with someone, and then we just didn't continue. So
gotcha.
I'll eventually, because it's like I like the newer 2D Mario games are such nice co-op games. So I would like to play with someone else, but you have to find the time for both people to do that and everything. So it's not always easy to coordinate that, whatever. So maybe eventually, but I definitely want to play it and also replay the new Super Mario Bros. U, whatever. But this isn't the gaming show. We're gonna talk about more of that.
We'll have one of those in a few weeks, maybe.
Yes, but also, Twitch stream, I totally get you. And for me, it's something else. I always was interested in doing it, and I did it for a while. Like, played through Resident Evil 6 on Twitch with one of our common friends, which was very fun. You were a guest on one of those episodes as well, but none of that stuff.
Was I?
Yes, you were. I think on during the Chris campaign playthrough of that game. At least
shows you how much that stuck with
John,
me.
it's been so long.
There's that, and I have been wanting to play the Resident Evil series for myself because it's just been a blank spot
Oh,
for
really?
me.
Okay.
Like I've played 5 and I hated it. And I played Revelations, and I actually really enjoyed it. So I want to go back and play the ones that I haven't at some point.
Well, if you hated 5, you're gonna absolutely abhor 6. Anyway.
Oh no, I hear 6. I hear 6 is the worst of the lot. So
we can talk about that more in the next episode on Free Press Per Second. That might be closer than everyone thinks. But yeah, getting back to the show that actually has the anniversary. Counting this one, we've recorded 176 episodes, moving closer and closer to the big 200. And, you know, judging from our reviews page, we have reviewed over 300 shows and movies, John.
Oh my God.
Not too shabby for 10 years, I'd say. So, what's next for us? Well, so far we don't have any real intention of stopping, as you just heard. This is still fun, but we might make a couple of further adjustments to which shows we do full reviews of. Because John already elaborated on his thoughts and why he has dialed back some of his full time or full length reviews. And it's kind of the same for me. Like, I wanted to start this project with John originally for 2 reasons. First, to keep my English language skills on a good conversational level, as it is not my native language, and you know how it is. If you don't use it, you lose it.
I mean, you speak the language better than most natives, so
Thank you. That's very nice of you to say things. But I want to keep it that way if that is really true. Like, if you feel that way, that's nice. So that was definitely one of the reasons why I wanted to do this. And the second big reason, maybe bigger reason, to have a cool person to regularly talk about one of my hobbies. And therein lies the problem a bit, because when reviewing shows only one of us watched, we, especially I, tend to talk more at you, our audience, instead of having an actual conversation with John. And that is kind of not what I want to do anymore, at least not as much. So unless I really want to talk about a new show because it completely grabbed me and there's so much interesting details to talk about, I'm probably going to relegate most of the reviews for shows only I watched to the quick and the dead. I mean... We've already done that for continued or returning season reviews of shows only one of us watched mostly. But this is probably going to happen to a lot more of new shows as well. I also feel bad for making John deliver a normal review, a full-length review for the new season of Rent a Girlfriend or stuff like that, just so I'm not the only one reviewing something for one of our episodes.
I mean, that's fair enough, but... I don't think you'll be hearing me talk about Rent a Girlfriend again. So
that's healthier for you and probably for the audience. So I don't know about me because I enjoy these reviews. Like
I don't want to be negative all the time, which I mean, we're going to get a little bit of that energy today, and I'm sorry, but
I mean, that's why we got rid of the trash stash, among other things, right? Because we want to focus on shows that we actually enjoyed most of the time, and we don't really have any nopes anymore in this sneak peek neither. So yeah, that's another reason. So absolutely, I would like to focus on the shows that we both watched. You know, and that might just reduce the number of reviews in general, because, you know, when I check out a new show and you don't have a new show you want to talk about, then that's probably going to get relegated to the Cooking the Dead. We'll see how this turns out. Nothing is set in stone. If there is room and enough interesting things we feel passionately about in any show only one of us watch, we're still going to do full-length reviews for those as well, but expect us focusing more on the shows that both of us watched in the future of this project. That might drastically reduce the number of episodes depending on the turnout each season. Like I said, next season we're going to have a lot to talk about, but this season we only have 2 shared reviews, so it's going to only be 2 episodes of Anime Brain Freeze this season. So how we will fill the leftover time? Well, as you might or might not know, and John already talked about it, and I talked about it, we already have a new side project on the same channel called Freeze Frames Per Second, where we talk about all things video games. So that's definitely something we will do. And also, maybe if we feel like this, we will go back and review an older show we either didn't get to in its original season, or what was released, or that was released before we started this project. So, yeah, we'll see. Either way, you're not gonna be rid of us yet. I want to thank you, John, for tolerating my quirks and occasional flakiness in certain regards for such a long time, and being a terrific co-host, doing cool reviews, whipping up the artwork for the episodes. That's a big help. And I'm looking forward to continue to talk with you about anime and games. So I hope we get to do that for a while.
Yeah, we'll try and keep it going. And thanks for having me. It's such an honor. No, but really, thanks for having me on. We're doing this, and I want to backpedal a little bit because you said having someone cool on the show. Who's that?
Now. No self-deprecating humor in this section. And of course, also a big thanks to you, our listeners, especially the people who have stuck with us since the beginning, or even if you just found us. I know we have a small core listenership. I don't know who most of you are because we don't really receive feedback of any kind whatsoever. So if you want to write us an email or leave us a nice comment or review on one of our episodes, that would be awesome. Either way, I hope you'll keep sticking with us, and I also hope we will be able to keep entertaining you, make you laugh, groan, scream at your headphones because you disagree with us, all that good shit. So yeah, on to the next milestone we go. And with that being said, let's move on to the sneak peek. So yeah, sneak peek time. Only 2 maybes for me and a whole lot of keepers, mostly because we have a buttload of returning shows this season. So yeah, I think I have more maybes than John, so I will start us off. First of all, as usual, for new-time listeners, we usually have 3 sections in this little thing where we talk about all the premieres that we checked out. The nopes, the maybes, and the keepers. So the nopes are the shows that we checked out and decided, no, we don't want to keep watching that because it sucks. And we haven't had those for a while because we gotten better at, or not as many anyway. Okay, the occasional one sneaks its way in there, but usually we are pretty good these days to determine which shows we don't want to give the time of day. So
I mean, it's very easy to go on Live Chart and filter out light novel and isekai.
Yes,
so
that helps a lot. But yeah, then, we have this the maybes, shows that have potential, but also maybe we'll squander it, and we're not quite sure about yet. And then the keepers, shows that we are most certainly gonna keep on watching and finishing and maybe probably reviewing. So yeah, let's start with the maybes, and we're hitting it off with the doozy, John. The first show I talk about is Darwin Incident.
Huh?
So, John, what do you think is the real danger to society? Billionaires or Nazis? What's your best guess?
Yes.
Wrong. It's vegans.
What? Okay. All right. Go on. Espouse this ideology to me.
I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, so this show starts off with an animal rights activist group breaking into a lab and freeing all the test animals. Kind of like 28 weeks later, whatever. Heralding bad things to come, I guess. Among those animals is a pregnant chimpanzee. Turns out her baby is a hybrid of a human and a chimpanzee. A human-zee. And yes, that's what the show actually calls it. That baby is named Charlie and is brought up by a researcher, Dr. Bart Stein, and his wife, Hannah.
Of course it's named Charlie. Of course. Shut up. I'm already...
All this is apparently public knowledge, by the way. His existence published in newspapers and everything. Kind of a short-term celebrity and everything. The generic father is apparently a Dr. Grossman, who went missing after all this. And the series basically, after this very short prologue, starts off with Charlie who is about to start school. He's 15 years old. This show is set in 2020. So Charlie, of course, immediately becomes a celebrity at his school. This, by the way, is set in the US, and somewhere in Missouri. Although, people seem to be more welcoming than expected at first. They're like kind of a bit apprehensive, but they're also not like immediately bullying him or something. At least not all of them.
Well, that's good, I guess.
Yeah, especially after he saves Lucy, a girl trying to rescue a cat from a tree from falling and injuring herself. And Lucy is really interested in how Charlie sees the world and vice versa. So they become friends quickly. And of course, there are also people not as welcoming at school, like the local jock, Ozzy, or his friend who seems to be genuinely scared by Charlie and his abilities and his alienness that seem to go beyond what chimpanzees and humans are capable of as separate species. So he apparently maybe got the best of both worlds in terms of genetics. And I think that's also the trajectory of the show. Like that it will turn out that Charlie is combining the best of both worlds, and so there will be factions that are afraid if more human Z's exist, they might replace humans as the dominant species. And there's a lot of this going already on in the first 2 episodes. Upon learning that Charlie is vegan, which he is because his parents are, not because he's a chimpanzee. He's just, his parents are vegan and he like adopted that, but he's not necessarily like adverse to eating meat. He's just, not doing that in a cafeteria. But immediately Ozzy, that the fucking bully dude, tries to do and yet you participate in society, curious to Charlie.
Oh, God.
And, gets more than he bargained for. Like there's this great exchange, like, He asked Charlie, if a mouse carried a deadly disease and was about to bite you, would you shoot it? Like trying to prove that he's a hypocrite for being vegan, whatever. After all, vegans believe that all lives are equal. And Charlie replies basically with, yup, and if you carried that disease, I'd shoot you too, because otherwise I'd die.
Honestly, kind of based.
Fair. Like, Charlie is very matter of fact in that regard. I'm not that much of a fan of his design. Like, his face and eyes are weirdly expressionless.
Yeah, I just looked at a pic and I was like, ugh.
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense because neither chimpanzees nor human faces are like that. Like, both have very expression-heavy features. So that's a weird design choice. I guess it's to make him seem more alien, but the show should be able to convey this without robbing the character of any way to express emotions with subtle gestures. So that's a bit of a weird choice, maybe due to story purpose and whatever, but it seems a bit like a cheap trick. And yeah, the best thing, quote unquote, is how fucking blunt, like pure bluntness on this fucking show. Like the other big party in this, or like the big like important faction in this, are of course the radical animal activists who like kicked all this into motion and are still working in the background. They're actually like they're called the Animal Liberation Alliance, and they want to recruit Charlie into their war, as it turns out. And they're portrayed as these dangerous fanatics and frankly idiots.
So PETA with guns.
Yes, they bombed like a restaurant where people can eat meat, and a little girl gets killed, and stuff that always happens in real life. And considering that Japan has a difficult relationship with organizations that try to stop them from hunting whales, for example, this feels like a rather one-sided hit piece. So I'm like, okay, I don't know. Did the author grow up as the son of a fisherman? I don't want to make assumptions, but immediately it's like, holy shit, this is so... I mean, he's probably an allegory, but, And, the police immediately suspect Charlie of being connected to the ALA as well. And, again, this could also be a very, very unsubtle allegory about xenophobia and paranoia, but... I worry that these kind of heavy topics are way beyond the creator's writing capabilities for me to take this show seriously. I mean, this could turn out to be a neat sci-fi story about an unusual friendship between Charlie and Lucy, right? Or it will become an absolutely misguided trash fire. I'm kind of interested in both, and currently expecting the latter. As the script already contains such gems as the line uttered by one of his classmates, "Charlie is vegan, right? Does that mean he is linked to the terrorists?" That's quite a jump. And we actually have a guy, the guy who is immediately afraid of Charlie, and when they talk about like what the terrorists are doing and everything, he's like immediately complaining about, hey, we're pandering to religious minorities all the time, so this is no surprise that this is happening, and we're not allowed to say Merry Christmas anymore. That's literally in the show. And like,
oh my God, what? Oh.
And we're like, okay, the show is obviously portraying these characters as idiots and the bad guys because they're xenophobic assholes, but it's also like, I wonder if it's still trying in the back to have them make a point or be like, hey, they kind of got a point. So I don't know how to feel about this yet. This is so fucking wild. It's like, John, I'm getting major Babylon vibes from this. Do you remember that show?
Oh no!
That started out
I forget. I just woke up like a sleeper cell when you said that name.
It's like I watched the first episode, a couple of minutes of the first episode. Oh, this is really interesting, and oh, this could be a cool, nice sci-fi fantasy, you know, with a bit of political intrigue and everything, and mystery and, you know, conspiracy and stuff. And then the second episode's hit, and all this crazy bullshit with the vegans and everyone like on social media correlating vegans with terrorists. And like, yes, thanks Darwin Incident for finally telling us about the real danger to society. It was about time. So
absolutely unhinged.
Absolutely, yes. This is the most unhinged premiere I've seen this season, and that is saying a lot because we got a lot of other crazy shit in here too. So I don't know what is gonna happen with this. Is I'm gonna continue this, or if it gets too stupid for me. But right now I'm thoroughly entertained by all the nonsense happening on screen, and we're just to find out if this show is gonna have a point, or if it's just gonna be Charlie actualing his way through this entire show. So what we will see. It's gonna be a fun ride, I guess. So maybe, but that's why it's still a maybe. So yeah,
fair enough.
I talked already longer about this than I expected, but yes, it's a crazy show. So if we want to go along for the ride, dear listeners, maybe check out Darwin Incident. It's crazy. All right, John, what is your first and I guess only maybe?
So back in my youth, there's this one show that I enjoyed watching on TV. God, I don't remember how many years after it got released in the US that it did in Japan, but it was a decent amount of time. Maybe you're familiar with a little show called Ronin Warriors.
I've heard the name.
Yes. So that was originally a show called Yoroi-Shinden Samurai Troopers from 1988. So it's been around for a minute. And suddenly Sunrise comes out of nowhere and says, hey, how about a new one? And they just all of a sudden drop Yoroi-Shinden Samurai Troopers on us. And boy, so the original was thoroughly, like, disgustingly, beautifully 80s. This one comes out and it feels like it's a show from the early aughts. It's like bloody and violent from the jump, and I guess it sort of explains away pretty quickly why when gates to the demon world start appearing, there's no humans around suddenly, because in the original, like, there's no people around. Well, where did they go? Who knows? They're just gone.
Okay. And here they kill them all.
And here it's just they appear and start cutting and slashing and dismembering, and it's very, very violent right from the jump.
I have to agree.
They don't waste a single second. And that's why I was sort of like maybe on this, because I love Ronin Warriors. I think it's still kind of a weird, different. I don't know if I've talked with you or anyone else about my feelings on the name change. So the original show is Samurai Troopers, where the dub called it Ronin Warriors. A Ronin, I believe, is supposed to be a samurai who has lost their master or doesn't answer to anyone, which I feel like kind of fits better in terms of name compared to the original, because are just kind of like this not really lone wolf, this like team that really only answers to each other, and they don't have their own master, as it were. So,
in the new one or in the old one?
Well, now in the new one, they have to answer to the government.
Yes.
Because they were like, hey, well, what if the demons come back? Well, we need a government faction that we're going to call the samurai troopers to go after them. And, well, Talpa Arago, whatever name you want to choose, is long dead, but here comes the totally distinct Emperor Ramaga, and and he starts sicking his he's got like 10 or 12 demon bosses that he sends out, which is weird considering in the original it was only like 4 or 5.
I mean, you got to stick up your fucking lines, like your ranks. He lost the first time, so I guess he said, "Well, we gotta put more people on this."
Which fair, but then when one of the demon lords is immediately felled, and they attempt to bring him onto the side of the samurai troopers when he's like, yeah, Ramaga's my dad, and I wanted to take him down anyway. And it's like, oh, there's the edge.
Yes, but
there it is.
That's a neat little twist, right? Like, I mean,
it is. It's a little more interesting than in the original, where main guy Rio was just like, I'm gonna defeat the Emperor. This is the 80s. Look how beautiful my hair is. And you know what? I love the original show for that. And I haven't gone back and rewatched it, but it was one of the last things I bought from Right Stuff before Crunchyroll came and ate them up. So I've got it on Blu-ray around here somewhere.
Interesting.
But yes.
As far as I know, we never got this over here, so I have no familiar with this whatsoever. So I went in completely blind and watching.
That's surprising, actually. I thought it was a bit more widely available.
Apparently not. Like I said, didn't ring a bell. I heard the name because I was aware this aired in the US, but I don't think I've ever seen it over here or come over here or whatever. So it was really interesting to me. It feels very, Super Sentai, Tokusatsu, right? And,
It definitely has that vibe to it.
Yeah. And, but the twist of Guy being the prince of the demons, I guess, is pretty neat. It's pretty unusual, I guess. And also him basically being stuck in the 80s. Because since the portal to the demon world were closed and it was open the last time in 88, the show keeps that in sync. It's like, okay, the last time this happened was in 88. This is an actual sequel, and all this time has passed, and now it's back. But the demons are stuck in the fucking 80s, so they still
listening to 80s J-pop, and it's great.
They listen to 80s J-pop and J-rock. They still use VHS. They apparently have.
That's right. Yes.
They apparently have rock concerts in the demon world, which is also awesome.
We had this information about parts of the demon world rituals. Someone taped over it, though. Yeah.
I think that
was the most important part.
The humor in the show is kind of off kilter and fun. I didn't expect it to be that kind of. I like the jokes are really good, apart from your standard stuff. But I liked it. I like the banter. I'm not super sure about if the episodes will be varied enough yet, because so far all of this has been set up, right, in the first 2 episodes. And we just got our team together because the first Samurai Trooper team we had, the old one is not around anymore because it's been too long.
But there's still posters everywhere that are like, hey, do you remember?
Yes,
do you remember? And I'm sitting here like, yes, I do, okay.
Yes, and they have these poster boys that are actually assholes and only in it for the money, and they get their comeuppance. So it's fun, and I'm interested to see where this goes, at least for 1 or 2 more episodes. I just wonder if it's gonna be like a Monster of the Week show, which I assume the old one mostly was.
It kind of was, but then there were some twists and turns in there that made it a bit more interesting towards the middle and the end. So, this is the show I was talking about. I was like, well, if this is going to be 12 episodes, then Jesus, but it is going to be 2 cores, where the original, I think, was it was like 38 or 40 episodes. It was a weird number, but it had a bit longer of a run. So they had enough time to be like, well, I don't want to give it away in case you ever want to go back and watch, but like this happened, but then this happened, and then, oh, this happened. There's a lot of things that go on. So it's a neat watch, at least.
Interesting. So, yeah, I'm definitely interested to hear your thoughts on it when when it's done and how it stacks up, compares to the old show and everything. I don't know if I'll stick with it till the end, but I'm definitely going to check out a couple more episodes and see how I feel about it, because it's interesting. I'm not super happy with the artwork and designs and everything. But
I find it interesting the way the characters pop off the backgrounds, like almost like they're not like cell shaded, like, you know, you would see in like a game, but just how brightly colored they are, and the outlines are a lot thicker compared to like a lot of other shows I've seen. I don't dislike it, but it's definitely different compared to a lot of other stuff you see.
Yes. I'll see. So far, the animation definitely holds up, like Sunrise is putting the work in. We'll see how this pans out over 24 episodes or whatever. And yeah, it's definitely interesting and kind of a relic come back to life. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So, since that was also my second maybe. So we're done with the maybes, and we're moving over to the keepers. And first off, getting that out of the way, there are a couple of keepers that haven't aired yet. The second season, for me, the second season of Medalist, that's coming up next weekend from the time we're recording this. The second part of the final season of Beastars is also coming up. And, of course, the big one, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Silver Run, is scheduled to start airing in the middle or end of March.
Oh god, I didn't realize Beastars was coming. I still haven't watched the first half.
Yeah, well, me neither, but I wanted to keep that until the second part is out and just have all of it, and not have to rewatch the first part again.
Fair.
Because I still remember what happened in season 1 and 2, because I watched both of these twice. But with the third one, I was like, okay, I'm just going to wait until the second part is out, and then we can talk about both parts in conjunction. So, but we have time, and whenever that is coming around, we can get to it. But yeah, those haven't aired yet, but those will definitely get reviews. So we're going to talk about it eventually. But yeah, let's talk about the shows that have aired. And there's going to be, I'm going to start us off with the first show, which is the second season of Hell's Paradise. A lot of returning show this, and I will say to this, what I will say about a lot of the returning shows this season is I need to rewatch season 1. Like, I barely remember what happened in the previous season. That is not saying any of these shows were not memorable. It just means it's been too long. I watched too many shows, and the long-term memory space on my mental hard drive has become very sparse. So that's why I feel like, okay, it doesn't make much sense to watch the first episode of that, because I will be constantly like, who was that again? What happened last year? Where were we? And I like watched 5 minutes of this and was like, no, that doesn't make sense. I'm going to rewatch the first season or listen to my review of the first season to get caught up again, or read a summary or whatever. But this... it's a keeper. I'm gonna watch this. I remember really liking the first season of this, so that's definitely gonna continue. And it's a MAPPA thing, so it looks good. So definitely gonna get back to that and probably do at least a quick review of this. Yeah, but you're gonna hear me repeat that sentence of I have to rewatch this and that a lot during this section. John, what is your first keeper?
Oshinoko is back, season 3. So this takes place about, I guess, 6 months after the end of the previous season. Things are going a little, maybe not so good with between Memcho, Kana, and Ruby, because Kana and Ruby are sort of like, it's not clear if they're super into what they're doing, but they definitely have their ulterior motives, and Kana is a little sad because Aqua started dating this other actress that she had a rivalry with. So, it's a little rough for her.
Tension.
But B Komachi they have their problems as a group and as individuals, but this just moving forward with the good old show business, as it were. It still looks great. I'm not sure how they're going to resolve some of the threads they opened up last time, because they closed up a couple.
Did they already close up the setup of the murder mystery, or is that still in the background?
Yes, but
okay.
So they're still
okay.
Yes, because Aqua kind of got his closure, but now Ruby is doesn't have hers.
Okay.
So that the lens has shifted a little bit to the right. So
interesting.
But yeah, I didn't think I'd be into this show just because it had such a weird setup to begin with, but the characters are interesting enough, so definitely going to keep going with it.
Nice.
Yeah. So what you got next?
Another returning show. My Hero Academia Vigilantes Season 2. Now that MHA proper is over, I will talk about that in the next episode. Well, almost. We're still getting an epilogue episode. I'm very glad that I don't have to leave that universe behind yet and can spend a little more time in it. And we're just picking up immediately where we left off last season. The heroes, not our main characters, but the heroes, faction, society, whatever, are still trying to find the main distributor for Trigger, the drug that makes quick users stronger but also more violent and or has them to go berserk. On the sideline of this, our vigilante troop, mainly currently focusing on Popstep and the Crawler, Koichi. Knuckle Duster has not been in the first 2 episodes yet, but they are doing their own thing. Popstep started doing that. That idol group thing, supporting the community, and they're doing a gig at a job fair or whatever, and it's something else like advertisement fair, like some kind of thing, some kind of presentation of new products and whatever, and she's like the promoter for that, and then shit goes haywire because at the same time the heroes are investigating one of the shipments leading to that venue, and apparently there's some trigger being hidden in certain boxes, and then they find a new villain and who's responsible for this, and he can slow down time or completely stop it, which is a very cool scene. We haven't gotten his name yet, I think, but when he uses his quirk, that's looks very, very cool and scary. And we also have a new hero character, the self-described police babe, Monika Kaniyashiki, who can cut things with her fingers like a crab. And so this is, there's a lot of fun to be had in the first 2 episodes. Pretty low-key, like the first season of Vigilantes was. It's not like this big, overarching superhero story with, the students on the one side and all for one faction on the other side, and everything like fate of the world is in the is at stake and whatever. It's just low stakes, very small main cast, and that's nice. It's nice to have this kind of story in this universe, and this being a prequel brings, of course, some problems with it, as in some characters are just safe, right? That they will get out of whatever peril they are put in unscathed because they're in My Hero Academia Prime. So they have to focus, if they want to build some tension, they have to put characters in peril that are new to this show. So that's also happening in this episode. So but yeah, I'm interested. I really like the main cast of this. I like Popstep, I like Koichi, I like Knuckle Duster, and hope he returns soon. I'm just in this more superhero stuff, and it's well animated, of course, because it's bones and cool OP, everything. And definitely gonna keep on watching more My Hero Academia, even if the main show is already over. I'm interested to stay in this universe. John, what is your next keeper?
Next keeper, it's got to be Golden Kamuy.
Yes, that's one of the other shows where I was like, I need to listen to our review of season 4 and also watch the 3 OVAs to get a grasp on where we are in the story, because I haven't watched them yet and I don't remember everything. Something pirates and Jack the Ripper. Like, okay, all right.
Yeah, when they picked back up, I was sort of able to get to that bookmark in my head. I was like, right, they were in Sapporo. They're going to figure out how to decode the skins. Jack the Ripper is there. He may or may not be Jack the Ripper. We're not sure. And Tsurumi and his gang are coming into town, and it's things are getting tense. We're definitely coming up towards the end, that's for sure. Yep. But I just watched the 3rd episode this morning, and I don't want to give too much away, but holy Jesus, dude. They're going nuts.
I mean, they're always going nuts in that show. That's not really a surprise.
No, you'll understand when you watch. It's going crazy now, but man, I don't know what I could say other than that, but I didn't check out the OVAs either. I want to go back and see if there's anything that essentially is essential to fill in any blanks. But I'm surprised I was able to sit down and be like, oh yeah, no, I kind of remember what was going on once we started rolling with that. Because they just were like, we're just going to keep moving. We're just going to keep going. And I was like, all right, okay.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, obviously. And we're obviously going to review this because Golden Kamuy has been one of our favorite shows since it started, and it's just such a wild ride, and I'm looking forward to it. I was just like, okay, I need to revisit at least some of this, at least our summary of it in our last review of the previous season, and then watch the OVAs, and then I'm good to go, and that will happen. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. And hey, always glad when we get to finish a show and it looks like this will be one of them, and I couldn't be happy that this is one of them. You know, it wasn't always sure that we would get a full adaptation of this, but apparently we are, so that's super cool. So yeah.
Yes.
Super happy.
That's what I'm most glad about. I still lament that it didn't stay with Geno Studio, because they definitely, like, the first season was tough. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. But then after that, they definitely showed, no, we have the talent to make a good show, and then I got handed off to Breen's Base. You know, they have been doing a good job. There were a couple of shots in like the first episode of this season that I was looking at, we're like, but on the whole, it still looked pretty good. So
the good thing about Golden Kamuy is it's so wacky that a bit of a reduced animation quality level is not necessarily killing the show, because there's so much nonsense in it anyway that profits from being incredibly funny, and thus also not needing to look like the big action fest that it also is, right? And like you said, Geno's got really especially good with the action parts of the show. But also I feel like especially the previous season with a battle, if I remember correctly, with the battle on the ship and everything, Brainspace really did a good job with that, and really exciting and impactful and everything. So yeah, it feels like this is the show that makes studios better over time. Evolve with Golden Kamuy. It's really neat. Golden Kamuy makes all of us better. It's just...
It really, truly does. We were the Golden Kamuy all along.
Yes.
What do you got next?
Journal with Witch. Ikoku Niki in Japanese. Direct translated to Diary of a Strange Land, which in context of the show seems more fitting. So Journal with Witch is a weird translation choice there, not to mention hard to say without twisting your tongue. But yeah, this is about a young girl, 15-year-old girl called Asa, and whose parents get killed in an accident in the first episode. And she gets taken in by her aunt, Makio, the little sister of her mom. Well, Asa is kind of forced upon her by her grandma, I guess, at first. But Makio also later in the first episode takes the initiative to take care of Asa in the face of everyone else in the family being disinterested and like handing her around, like, I don't want to take care of her, blah, blah, blah. Which is a very good and emotional scene. But yeah, Makio is a novelist and a slob who is not taking particularly good care of her apartment and herself. Doesn't know the first thing about raising a child. Asa is a somewhat introverted girl, but so is Makio too, so they have some things in common more than they probably know. And now these very different people have to learn to live together and understand each other and to communicate and everything. And it's really neat. It has a beautiful OP. I didn't know anything about the show. I didn't even know it was airing, and then I participated in a trailer watch-along in the Discord channel, and this was definitely one of the shows that immediately stood out to me in terms of story setup and in terms of character constellation and everything. It was like, oh, this looks super neat, comfy, slice of life, and with two cool characters, and also probably a bit of drama, and working through things. Like, Asa doesn't know how to feel about her parents' death yet. She seems kind of low-key neutral, maybe in shock. Like, Makio tells her it's okay to feel sad whenever she feels like she wants to be, like not when others tell her to be or expect her to be. And Asa is very happy about that because she doesn't know how to process and feel about her parents' death yet herself. And Makio says she herself doesn't feel sad at all. Apparently, she didn't have a good relationship with her big sister. Says she hated her, actually.
Oh.
She says she feels sorry for Asa, though, so there's that. And Asa isn't like angry at her for like saying that about her mom or whatever. And Makio recommends writing a journal to Asa so she can better process and verbalize her feelings, and thus we have the title of the show. And because Asa has a very vivid imagination, and she sees her, whenever she looks at Makio or has like an interaction with her, she's like imagines herself in a different like foreign land. Like, for example, when she and Makio and a friend of Makio's eat dinner, she imagines herself as like this Oriental bazaar, and she's like her aunt is a complete enigma to her. She doesn't understand her. She like has so many new experiences when like watching her and being like, oh, this is how adults can talk to each other, which, like Makio has a very normal conversation between two women with her friend Nana, who she calls Daigo because that's her last name, but she just calls her by her last name all the time, which is fun. And they have like this really normal grown-up women talking to each other, and Asa is completely like flustered by this because she's like, adults can actually talk like that to each other, which tells you a lot about the household where she grew up in, like, or about her mom and how she interacted with her maybe friends. Maybe she didn't have any, I don't know. But that I will be interested to find out how that actually came to be. But yeah, she's like completely enamored and fascinated by her aunt, and is like, okay, this is really interesting. And first episode really emotional at a certain point and really pulled at my heartstrings, and it already starts really strong, like because Asa is partially narrating the episode because she's writing in a diary, right? But also Makio is partially doing it because she's a novelist. And there's like this great line when she it's a small apartment. It's not really made for two people, so Asa is sleeping in the same room that Makio is working in and writing her novel. And she's talking about how she types in the words and everything, and then her final sentence is like, before she falls asleep, "Here I am alone, sleeping next to the throne of a queen from a strange land. These nights are my favorite." And it's very nice. Like they immediately have like this underlying connection. You notice that, and you see this fascination of Asa, and like having like this new world shown to her that she never knew existed, and this very strange person that she's never like seen apparently before in a way, and like it's really cool. Like I like everything about this. I think it's just probably gonna be super comfort food, but there's, like I said, also probably gonna be a lot of drama when the two characters have to work through her feelings. Like Asa is every time she thinks about her parents' death, she imagines herself imagines herself being in this vast desert, completely alone, and not knowing where to go and how to get out of it. And that, of course, is right. This is a metaphor for her being absolutely grieving and maybe partially also depressed and everything, and trying to find a new way in life. And Makio is probably going to help her with that. On the flip side of this, Asa is probably going to help Makio working through certain unresolved feelings toward her big sister. So yeah, I am super interested to see where this goes. It's super low-key, of course. You know, it's mostly dialogue-driven and everything, but it's a super pretty show. And nice music and everything. And yeah, a wholesome thing to watch after a stressful workday. Absolutely. And
nice.
Yes, absolutely looking forward to more of this. So yeah, John, what do you have next?
What about Trigun Stargaze?
Yes, another show. Another show is like, yeah, I want to rewatch Stampede first. Because even though I loved it, I memory hold pretty much all of the first season. I remember bits and pieces like, yeah, this with knives happened and this and that, and these characters were in it, these weren't, these characters were new and so on, and Orange just fucking delivered on all fronts. But that's also one of the reasons why I want to rewatch the first season, because I feel like it has been long enough that I can like, yeah, just gonna go back and marvel at these visuals again. And yeah, so tell me about the first episode or episodes of Trigun Stargaze. Do they pick up immediately where they left off? What's going on?
So it's been 2.5 years since Lost to July, and Meryl is on the search for Vash, and Millie's here now.
Yay! Yeah, I saw that. I was very happy about this.
They have a standoff in a bar, much like the original series. Just so you remember what the show is all about. They're trying to get a snack, and it gets shot up, and they got to take out the trash.
Yep.
So they are on the search for Vash when they catch a hint that, you know, they might know where he is. And who should they literally run across, literally run over in the middle of the desert? But Wolfwood.
Yes, of course.
And they send him flying. Oops.
I really, really hope if there is a romance between Millie and Wolfwood this time, it's gonna go differently than it did in the original show.
Well, I guess that remains to be seen. Yeah. But there's also something going on in one of the colonies that sort of crash landed on the planet, and one of the girls there, Jessica, gets sent off to try and see if she can find Vash as well. And she finds him, but he's like almost catatonic. All he's doing is standing at this piano, playing one note over and over. And he was found by this hulking, huge dude who is like a cripple, and he can only move around on wheels. His name is Hoppard. Who's, if you know some of the original, you might recognize that name. And this sort of mirrors, I believe, a little bit of the story that was told in either the manga or in Trigun Maximum. Because Hoppard was caring for this blind woman in July, and then July got nuked. So Hoppard, not realizing that this person is Vash, then when he finds out who he is, well, the grudge sort of starts to come out. And he says, listen, I am going to kill this girl at sundown if you don't kill me. But we all know what Vash is like, so... And that sets off another standoff in the middle of the desert, and a bunch of things happen there. And, you know, this is not as goofy in parts as the original show. So there's some not so happy stuff that happens in there as well. But it's an interesting twist on the story. Like I said, I think parts of it borrow from Maximum, but not fully. So there are some reflections of it, but it's not. It's still its own retelling in certain ways, though.
And that's good, right? Like, that doesn't detract from any of the source material that they borrowed from. It still can live as its own thing, and it's not really interfering with that. So it doesn't have to adhere to all the stuff that has come before it. It's just gonna be a neat remix. And the first season already pretty much felt like that. So that is neat. I'm interested to see what they do with the familiar characters and potentially with the new characters. Does it still look as good as the first season did?
Oh yeah,
nice.
Like it took me off guard a little bit because there were a couple of scenes at the beginning that were like traditional animation, but then they started to get into the CG, and I was like, okay, this is what I was expecting, and it's orange doing orange, so it looks good.
Nice. That's I'm looking forward to that.
Of course. So, what else you got?
Yes. Another show we're probably both gonna watch. Fire Force Season 3, Part 2. Yeah. This apparently is the final season we're gonna get of Fire Force, which is wild to both of us. We already talked about that in our review of Season 3, Part 1, because apparently there are like 88 chapters left at this point.
I don't understand how they're going to cover that much unless they're like, psych, there's a movie as well.
Maybe that, but also it's super noticeable that they're hitting the fast forward button in these first 2 episodes. It's like, especially in the second one, it moves so fast. And I looked a little bit into it, where it's like some of the stuff they left out. Apparently the flashback stuff with Benimaru and his former captain, or his chief or whatever, is a lot longer in the manga. It's like 2 or 3 chapters or whatever, that flashback alone. And I feel they cut that down heavily, which of course kind of detracts from the emotional impact. And this is what I was worried about when I heard like they're gonna super streamline it and cover all this so quickly. I expected to also a lot of this being fights, and that's why it's easy to cut it down. But they're also cutting some of the story stuff apparently, and taking some of that out, which we'll see how it flows. Like, the pacing of the first season wasn't great. It partially felt way too slow and partially too fast. So maybe it's a bit more even this time around and just fast in general. Though I'm happy to report, at least when it comes to the first 2 episodes, the animation quality seems to be better again.
Yeah, it does.
Like the fight between Benimaru and what was his name? The former chief, Hibachi. That looked really good. Also, really interesting stuff they do with the backgrounds there, because it suddenly turns into this classic Japanese painting style.
Yeah, I thought that was cool with the water.
Yeah, super cool. Looks super cool.
And I love that one of the characters points out, why does the water look different?
That's definitely something I would expect from David Production. That's definitely one of the things they like to do, just inserting cool, out there visual styles into their shows that make them look very unique. So, I hope this is a thing, this is gonna stay like on that baseline or get better, which is one of the things I hope for when we reviewed the first season, that the first part of the season that we both were not happy with. And it was like, maybe they're saving a lot of the people who deliver the best stuff, like the key animators and stuff like that. Maybe they're all working on the finale of this on the last couple of episodes, so we get a big action blowout that looks really good. It might be that. Like,
I hadn't looked into the staff situation yet, so I'm not sure.
But also, it might turn out that all of them just worked on fucking JoJo's, because the first trailer for Zebra Run looked really good when it comes in comparison to other JoJo shows. So maybe they just put all their A-team on that show. I don't know. And that's gonna have a lot of episodes, because that's a really long arc in the manga. I don't know if it's the longest, but definitely one of the longest. So, we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. I don't know how many episodes this is gonna have. I didn't look this up if it's like 12 or more.
I'm seeing 13 here on live charts, so
yeah, we'll see how we feel by the end of it. It might feel super rushed. There's some interesting things happening in the first episode. Like, I was partially wrong about this, what I assumed happened at the end of the first part. There's something else happened, but also sounds...
Yeah, that was kind of interesting how they explained that.
Yes. So I also expected them that some of the stuff that they took that out, like they skipped 3 months. But apparently those also weren't in the manga. The time skip was already in the manga, so it's nothing they took out there, apparently. So interesting. I don't know where we go from this. But yeah, it seems to look better, but also to be careful with that because the first episode of the previous part also looked really good. And then it went downhill from there. So weird. But hey, we're almost done with this. And even if it doesn't end on a great note, then that's how it is. But I'm still happy to have Arthur in my life. And of course, he's the only one who checks what's going on in this with Shinra and everything.
How was he the only one who knew? And he didn't say anything.
Because he's a secret genius, but also an idiot.
Like I'm just sitting there like, Arthur, I love you, Arthur, but come on.
I mean, he did say things. They just didn't understand him because he put it in his usual weird... way, like he said, it's Shinra, but it's not Shinra. Yeah, what are you supposed to do with that? Like, if that's all you're getting from him.
I guess, but like, shake some sense into the boy.
But yeah, it's nice to see those two, like, finding common ground and everything, and they're, actually being...
Yeah, it was nice to see them not fighting for once and actually talking.
Yeah. Was cool. So I liked the first 2 episodes of this. I thought they were like a good return to form in the character department, and the stuff with Iris was interesting and everything.
Yeah.
The thing I'm most worried about is that it's gonna feel so super rushed by the end, and we're gonna skip out on a lot of character development and interesting emotional moments and whatever, and the fight's gonna be kept super short, because the fight against Hibachi also felt pretty short, even though it looked really good. Like, it felt like this should have been like an entire fight for 1 episode or whatever, and it was not even half an episode. So it was went by in super quick, 5 minutes or something like that. So we're probably gonna get more of this, and I would like to be the final fight, whatever it is, Shinra against his brother or someone else, or we'll see, Amaterasu, who knows, to look really cool. But there's enough interesting mystery still going on with what Shinra saw in his dream world or whatever, and I'm interested to find out what that is about. So yeah, we're gonna keep watching, and we're apparently are done in about now 11 episodes that are left. So interested to see where this goes. John, what do you have next?
How about Fate Strange Fake?
Yes. Guess what? This is another one of the shows where I was like, this doesn't make any sense, because this starts us off with episode 2. Because, John, when does episode 1 air?
Literally last year. 1 year ago.
Yes. And before that, we had like a prologue special called Whispers of, was it Destiny or something?
Whispers of Dawn, I think.
Yes, Whispers of Dawn, which I think I've never even seen. I've only seen the first episode, so...
Yeah, I mean, Type Moon does some weird New Year's stuff every year, and the surprise last year in 2025 was, we're going to show you the first episode of Fate Strange Fake. So I was all jazzed up. I was like, oh, it's going to be airing this season? Yeah. And then they were like, no, just the first episode. And I'm just sitting here like... What do you mean? What are you talking about? So we had to wait a full year, and I definitely sat down and rewatched the first episode because it's been a second, and oh my god, A1 are hitting on all cylinders with this show, dude. Oh my god!
I've heard, like, I've seen comments on Blue Sky along the lines of, this show can't possibly go this hard every episode, right? Right?
It can't. Like, the first 3 episodes were like, oh, you want Sakuga? Just here. Just eat it up. savor it. It's delicious. And I'm just like, yes, please, Father, more.
I mean, if they already delivered the first episode last year and they've been working on that show nonstop since then, they took their time to make this look good. So I'm all hyped for it. I was just like, hey, it doesn't make any sense to start this without revisiting at least the first episode, but I'm also probably going to check out Whispers of Dawn because I've never seen it. And I'm definitely going to do that. Absolutely looking forward to returning to the Fate franchise because it's been a while. Like, I don't even remember when we reviewed Fate Unlimited. What was it? What was it called? World fuck.
Unlimited Blade Works?
No. We didn't review. No.
Apocrypha?
No, that came after that. We reviewed another one after that. What was it called? I think that was also based on the mobile game.
Grand Order?
Grand Order.
Oh,
yes,
Babylonia.
Yeah, Babylonian Front. That was the last one we reviewed, and I don't even know if that got new movies or whatever. But we rewatched the show.
I think there was a movie of the Singularity that takes place before Babylonia, which I don't understand why they released it after Babylonia. That makes no sense. And I'm still salty about that, how stupid they've been handling the FGO anime adaptations. But one of our friends is like, oh, no, that's fine. It's like, no, this doesn't make sense from a perspective of people who don't know the story. So when we were watching it, and like the old man of the mountain comes out, it's like, well, what is he doing here? You mean he was critical to one of the previous singularities? Explain that. Show that to us. Don't just be like, oh, you have this understanding because we assume you know. Have you been playing the game for 7 years? No, I haven't.
Yeah, it seems like it was made for people that actually are familiar with this. So, but I guess Fate Strange Fake is something. What is it even based on?
It's based on a light novel, but it takes place along the same timeline, I believe, as Apocrypha and Waver's Magical Mystery Adventure. I can't remember the name of the show. So Waver is in there, Gray is in there, Flat is in there. So we have a whole bunch of characters that we have seen before.
And Waver itself was that a sequel to Zero? Was that set in the same timeline or was it slightly different? I don't remember.
I believe it was. Like, I'd have to sit down and look through it, but I believe there is a linear path from Fate Zero to Fate Stay Night, which then has its branches to Blade Works, Heaven's Feel, and whatever.
I heard they're great.
Yeah, same. I have the Blu-rays, but I haven't watched them. But I believe it has those branches, but then whatever branch is considered the quote-unquote canon, then I believe that leads into wherever Apocrypha and the case... What was it called? The Case Files of Lord El Malloy?
Yeah.
No, I think I'm mixing up names with the Case Study of Vanitas.
Maybe.
But yeah, I believe there is some sort of linear path from Zero to Stay Night to this, as far as I understand. Because I think this takes place after Apocrypha. The Grail War is now in the United States.
Interesting.
And we're following this. One of the main characters is this girl, Ayaka Sajo, who has basically been cursed by the Ainsburns to have to participate, who has been forced to participate in the Grail War. In this Grail War that wasn't supposed to have a saber, so it was supposed to be a false Grail War. But guess what? There's a saber all of a sudden. Oops. So now it might actually be a true Grail War. And meanwhile, Waver is sitting back in the clock tower trying to figure out what the actual heck is going on. And Flat is a master now, and he's like, what are you doing? Why did you become a master? And one of the guys talking to him is like, so I see the student has learned from the teacher. And he's like, and Waver's like, you know what? You're right. You got me. So there's some interesting stuff going on with this one. Like the animation is incredible. We have suddenly a dead apostle who might be a master, and that is not okay by the church. So we have a battle priest coming out, and he might be one of the best characters in the show. He's so awesome, and there is just a lot going on with this, and it looks so good, and I am super jazzed for this. I've been waiting a year probably closer to 2 years for this, because Whispers of Dawn, I think, was a special that came out. It was like one random summer. I want to make sure I have my timeline right. Yeah, it came out in July of 2023. The first episode aired in January of 2025, and now we're getting the actual full story. And I've been actually ready for like a proper new story, a new Grail War. So I want more of it. I just want to see more of it, because there's so much cool stuff going on with it.
Sounds good. I am absolutely looking forward to it. I want some Fate Sakuga. I'm going to get on that as soon as I revisited the first two-ish episodes. So yeah, joining you soon.
Yes. So, what else you got?
Something you got as well. The second season of Frieren.
Yes,
we both very much love the first one. We're getting a much shorter one, apparently. Only 10 episodes this season, which is like, okay. I don't know if it's like only a one core, or if it's just gonna be dead for the foreseeable future. Like, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, just back 29 years after Himmel's death. I don't know if that's exactly where we left off, but I think so.
I believe it is, yeah.
Yeah. And it's just, the first episode was just the usual slice of lifey stuff. The gang going on adventures, misadventures, like falling into a cave full of crystals that negate magic. And have to run away from a monster, and since the two magical girls, women, can't use magic, Stark has to like grab them and run really fast. So yeah, it's
sometimes you got to pick your battles.
Yes, like it's got the usual good mix of humor, especially on Frieren's side of things, like her actually managing to get up early just to collect that stone that is worth a lot but blocks magic, so it's kind of worthless to them. So, and we got a bit of a cool character development, with Frieren, who is for the first time, apparently, since she can, remember, completely like disconnected from magic when they fall into that cave, and that scares her, because it makes her feel really like alone in this empty void or whatever. So we have like some neat interaction between Frieren and Stark, like bit of awkwardness, which Frieren interprets as like having Stark having trouble with being in this party, but kind of results from him and Frieren actually caring a lot for each other, even if they aren't haven't fully realized that yet themselves. So they gotta work on that and work through that. But, it's all good vibes again, which is kind of what Frieren is. We'll see if there is going to be another more action-focused arc in these 10 episodes, or if it's going to stay more episodic, because the last season had two kind of big action-focused arcs at a certain point that went on a bit longer, especially the one with the magic exam. That kind of was the whole second part of that season. And we'll see. I'm super looking forward to this. Madhouse giving it their all. It's a beautiful show as usual. And this was one of the shows I was looking forward to the most this season. And the first episode delivered on the good stuff. So I guess that's how you feel as well, John.
Oh, yeah. Like this and Fate were my big ones that I was looking forward to. And Samurai Troopers a little bit. So
yeah. All right. Then that is that. John, do we have anything left? Yes, you do. Probably the same one thing that I do.
I'm pretty sure we're down to our final, and that's Jujutsu Kaisen, the Culling game.
Yes, part 1.
Part 1. I didn't realize this was going to be a split core until I saw that, show up on live charts. So
yeah.
Whatever helps Mappa's production timeline so they don't run their animators into the ground like with the Shibuya incident.
Yes, because this already, again, the first 2 episodes looked so crazy and they animated their butt off, and I really hope that isn't to be taken literally.
Yeah.
And I don't like... I get a lot of people, feel like a lot of people are hating on this show now, and I don't understand why.
I think, as far as I understand, I think the manga has wrapped, and a lot of people were about the ending, which I don't know the details of, but I think a lot of people are probably looking back on it like,
Yeah, that can always happen. And we're not there yet. I don't know how far ahead the manga is and how much more is left for the anime adaptation. But right now, this is fun. The first 2 episodes, especially of this, where we get introduced to the youngest sibling in the Zenin clan, Naoya, and the show makes it crystal clear in the first couple of seconds that he's the biggest asshole this show has to offer so far. Mm-hmm. So I can't wait to get the shit for him to get the shit beaten out of him. Hopefully. I mean, Choso kind of does that in the second episode, I guess. But he already gets a metaphorical kick in the teeth, which made me very happy because as a fallout from last season, namely Satoru being imprisoned, sealed, whatever, when the current head of the Zenin clan dies, his testament demands an old contract with Tojiro Fushiguro be fulfilled and Megumi be made the head of the clan. A position Naoya expected to become his. I clapped. Get fucked, Naoya, you piece of shit. Our main character, Yuji, meanwhile, working together with Choso, who considers him his brother after their fight in the second season, are cleaning up Tokyo, trying to get rid of as many as the released spirits as possible after the big upheaval at the end of the previous season. Unaware that Yuji losing the protection of Satoru has led to him being blamed for everything and being sentenced to death now. And then Naoya arrives to kill Megumi and Yuji. Yuta, who we have been waiting to appear again after being introduced to him in Jujutsu Kaisen 0, arrives to kill Yuji, ostensibly. So we have a big old battle royale on our hands, and it's awesome. And the first attack of Naoya against Choso and Yuji has produced this amazing meme.
Yes, it has.
Fantastic. Very funny, because he just whips back his hair with his hand and at the same time punches Choso, who's behind him. It looks so funny, but also awesome because it's really well animated. So we've seen already a lot of parodies of that, and it's great. But yeah, a lot of things are happening in the first 2 episodes in regards to that. We have this new status quo, and then we learn about the Culling game, which is the guy who is inhabiting the body of Geto, which we weren't really sure about in the previous episode. We now learn that, or have learned, that's his, what was his name? Was it Natoshi something?
Noritoshi Kamo.
Noritoshi Kamo. We get a different name for him this season as well. Kenjaku.
That's it.
And he intends, he is gonna do this culling game, calling everyone back to the academy and taking part in this shit, which is apparently also kind of like this battle royale thing. And you have to kill your opponent, get a certain number of points, otherwise your abilities are going to be taken away.
And by abilities taken away, they mean death.
That wasn't super clear to me, if they just going to be sealed in a way of you can't be a sorcerer anymore and are just a normal human being, or if they're going to be killed. Well,
I don't know if you watched the 3rd episode yet, but they meet with someone. They meet with someone, Tenzin, yeah. And they talk at length about the rules, and the implication appears to be stripping someone of their jujutsu abilities is death.
Okay, that sucks. So there's no easy way out for anyone. And Megumi asks Yuji to come, and also Yuta, I guess, to come back, and Choso's helping too, and come back and support him to get certain people out of it. We also have Maki, who is back with short hair and a lot of scars, which is awesome. I mean, it's like... I appreciate the new wave of shonen anime actually willing to permanently scar their protagonists, like My Hero Academia and this come to mind.
Yeah.
It's not the only one that happens to. Yuji's also scars on him. One Piece has done this too. Plus, certain scars are cool and sexy, don't at me. And so this was really nice, like seeing her back. And, you know, the show is still trying to convince me that they actually killed off Nobara. I'm not buying it yet. I don't want to buy it. So we'll see where this goes. I hope she makes like this dynamic surprise entry at a certain point. So we'll see. That would be really cool because she was one of my favorite characters. And if they really killed her off for good, I'm going to be very sad. So, but yes, so she and that is kind of our team. And who's it? Tsukumo, Yuki Tsukumo was Satoru's teacher, right?
Yes, I believe so.
She's kind of the leader on this team, and they're gonna infiltrate, I guess, Jujutsu Academy and or High, Jujutsu High, and gonna try either to win this game or I don't know, to sabotage it, whatever. Each of them kind of have like also their own agenda. Choso wants to reclaim the remains of his killed brothers. And there's some other things that are going on. So interesting to see how this shakes out. Like the third episode was like this giant ass exposition dump, which could have been handled better. It was a bit inelegant. It's like Jesus Christ. There's so many rules in this fucking game, and we learn about so many ways the energy works and what they have to do and everything. It's very gamified. And at one point, I was like, oh, okay, get on with it.
I get what you mean, but it's kind of essential, I feel like, to get that out of the way. And at least they did that now rather than 10 or 11 episodes in.
Yeah, I hope we don't have fights where they stop mid-fight and then just recapitulate some of these basic rules and everything. And it's like, okay, we already learned about this in the third episode.
The rules are tantamount to the game, so clearly they're going to be coming up again at some point.
Yeah, but I hope they don't get explained to us again during the fights.
I doubt that, if they go into such painstaking detail again, so...
You know, but that was one of my holdups in some of the action scenes in the second season, which I loved. A lot of people already hated on that season, mostly because of the production issues on MAPPA's side in terms of how they treated their workers. And I totally empathize with that and agree with that. But also apparently some people didn't like the way the story went there, and I don't agree with that. We both had a lot of fun with the second season, and it looked super, for the most part, super good. And it was exciting, a lot of twists and turns and sad moments and awesome moments and everything. Great finale. So but that was one of the things where it's like, why in the most awesome action moments you're stopping during the fight and have the narrator explain to us what is happening, even though it doesn't really matter. Like, okay, yes, you can explain exactly to us how the technique works and why that character was able to do this, but also you don't really need to, because this is just bullshit magic anyway. And if the character can do that, they can just do that. Like, I can appreciate if they put thought into, like, if the creator of the manga put thought into certain mechanics and how it works and everything, but that never should, like, detract from the momentum of the action scenes. So that was something I was kind of like, about in certain parts of the second season. But we'll see how the third season shakes out. And so far, it looks really good. The first two episodes didn't do a lot of explaining during the action scenes. It was just balls to the walls and absolutely insane choreography and action and violence, and it was fucking awesome. So, looking forward to more Jujutsu Kaisen, definitely. I guess that's it for the sneak peek. A lot of returning shows. A lot of them I have to revisit earlier material to get into the groove again. And we're going to talk about a lot of them come next season. but yeah, this is our sneak peek for this season, and we're gonna switch over to our first review from fall season 2025.
So, after all of that good stuff, we get to talk about One Punch Man.
Yes, like, here we are again. And of course, this had to be the show we review today, because 10 years ago, we started this little project by reviewing the legendary first season of One Punch Man. Things have changed since then, and as real life imitates art or vice versa, the expectations have been lowered and many disappointments had to be faced.
Yeah. So we kind of pick up where it left off. For better or for worse. Like, there's a lot of, I think, wasn't there some like episode 0 thing that, and then in the second season. And then in the first episode, they had a lot of just talking and recapping anyway. So it was like, then what was the point of
saving money? I don't know. But again, this is, I mean, we'll get to that. But the problems in this season are not mainly the budget, which of course, you know, when switching from season 1 to season 2 and switching from Madhouse to JC Staff, that was the most prominent thing. That stood out, where it's like, oh my god, this is not even remotely on the animation quality level of the first season. So,
like, I feel like I'm able to hand wave the second season at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Is the animation quality not as strong? Yeah, but it's still telling the story and it feels competent in doing it. So I'm willing to look at season 2 and be like, okay, so, you know, it was a little subpar in the production side, but we're still moving the plot forward. And then along comes this, and it's a lot of just sitting and talking and planning and trying to figure things out, and long panning shots with nothing going on, and ugly production, and just what I thought the crux of this season was going to be was Garo wrestling with his humanity or lack thereof ? And I was like, okay, all right. Like, from the onset, I was like, well, this still has some legs. This is still interesting to me. Because Garo, he doesn't want to be a human, but it's clear he doesn't want to be a monster either. He wants to be free of this system and do his own thing. But everything around him is saying, no, you have to pick a role and shut up. And I thought that was, you know, a really cool idea. And then we just kind of forgot about it like 3 or 4 episodes in. And it becomes this plan to like raid the monster hideout, and there's these 2 kids that are being held hostage. One of them that Garo tries to save in the first couple episodes, and he still gets caught anyway because he's a dumb but at least well-meaning kid. And then the other brat that I absolutely hate.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, Waganma is the worst, and I don't think the irony is lost on a lot of people, because if you change his name slightly, it becomes the word Wagamama, which translates to selfish.
I mean, the show is full of these name jokes, right? That is one of the main points of humor of One Punch Man. Like, the names of a lot of these characters are ridiculous. I didn't look into the actual spelling, like in terms of kanji and everything of the names, but I remember there like being a character that was called not Goki, but obviously was Goki in the second season, but he was then named Goketsu, and maybe Ketsu spelled like backside or whatever. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure if that was actually the case, but there's so many names in this season where this is also like either it's a pun, or it's a really dumb joke, or a parody on some superhero thing, right? That is familiar to us. So yeah, that's still in there. That's still fun, and that is one of those cases, like you said.
Yeah, and this show still has moments scattered here and there like that, but it's the writing is just not nearly as strong, and I know we try to talk things through, but it's tough to bury the lead with this season. And giving a play-by-play of the episodes is just like them sitting around and talking and figuring things out. And this is, I understand you can't have it be all action all the time, but this just like pushes it so far.
Let's do a broad overview just of this, what is happening overall.
Go for it.
It's the Monster Association that was, I guess, kind of already introduced in the previous season. They want to, I don't know, eradicate all superheroes, whatever, because there's a danger to them or things. And the main guy, Goro is like leading the charge, I guess. And they kind of want to recruit Garo, who was introduced also in the previous season. It's like this anti-hero poster child who's not really a good guy, but also not entirely a bad guy, like an asshole with a heart of gold kind of thing. And he has his own grudge against superheroes because of his childhood, because he got bullied by people who were like playing superhero and whatever. And, that kind of works. It's effective stuff, but it's not, and this is also where a problem is, that's not what the season goes into. Like, it's completely focused pretty much on the Monster Association plot, like them trying to conspire to lure the heroes into a trap, the heroes making plans to infiltrate the monsters HQ, Garo just being abducted by the monsters, trying to find his way out, trying to save that one kid at the same time because he made friends with it in a way, or at least considers him his responsibility. And then, all that kind of culminates in, a couple of battles at the, in the second half of the season. And that could be interesting. Like, I mean, I guess, and a lot of people cite this as the main problem. Our main character, Saitama, is not really a lot in this season. Like,
he's barely there. He's in like maybe 3 episodes.
Yes, he's there on the side. And, part of that already was the same in the previous 2 seasons, right? Like, a lot of the lower tier heroes and even main side characters like Genos were doing the main battles, right? And
but even Genos was barely there this season.
Exactly. That's also the big problem. Like, we had a couple of main characters and we're following them. And then they did the big fights. And Saitama usually came in at the end, delivered his one punch, or did a little bit of evading and then delivered the punch. And then the fight was over. And his storyline was more about him finding out what he wanted to do with his life. Like, finding out how he defines what it means to be a hero, what it means to be strong. And, there's some movement that was put on that when he meets King, one of the hero characters who turns out to be like this giant phony, and due to a lot of misunderstandings, everyone thinks he's the strongest hero, like who wins all the fights. He kind of because he like was around when Saitama beat other characters and nobody knew that Saitama was doing this and assumed it was King, and King wasn't like confident enough to like tell them that that's not the case. And every time his heart beats really fast because he's super nervous, everyone assumes that's his superpower, the King engine.
The King engine is revving up, baby.
It's so funny. Like, I love King. I think he's a wuss, but he's also like has a good moral compass in a way. And he tries to, like, he doesn't actively try to tell everyone that he's not what they think he is, which is kind of on him, but also they constantly make the wrong assumptions, and that's not really his fault. Like, he just doesn't tell them everything, but they also just jump to conclusions all the time, and that's really funny. That continues in this season, and he's just trying to wiggle his way out of this, and he's like one of Saitama's newest like supporters and everything, and he's really happy around. And the good thing about King is he actually is able to give Saitama some moral support, some guideline to, or some idea of what Saitama is supposed to do with his life, because Saitama is really depressed because he doesn't know what to do anymore, because he doesn't have a challenge anymore, and so far he has defined being a hero, aside from doing the right thing, like saving people, as being the strongest there is. And he now is. So he has achieved that goal. So he doesn't have really any goal in life anymore. And that kind of completely, like, paralyzes him and makes him depressed. And, like, he doesn't know how to proceed in life and what to do. And King is like, okay, you're the strongest, but is that really all there is to being a hero? Like, is that really how you would like to define that? And isn't there more to it? And he gives a couple of bullet points like, hey, maybe you want to look for being that or improving that about yourself. And that actually helps Saitama. And that is super interesting. And I hoped for them to go even more into that, and Saitama trying to find himself in this season, trying to do different approaches to being a hero, aside from also finding stronger enemies to beat. And they don't really do that. Like, aside from this interactions with King and Saitama, which I really like, there is not really that in the season. Like, for most part, like you said, Saitama isn't even there. There's some funny bits here and there where, like, Fubuki or Blizzard is trying to, like, recruit him into her, like, group all the time. He absolutely
join the Fubuki crew. No,
he does not care about that shit, like, at all. He doesn't want to have everyone hanging out at his apartment, but that's just how things ended up, as usual. And it's super fun. Like, there's some fun scenes with her and Saitama at a restaurant. And I laughed so hard at that. Like, I loved all these interactions. I thought they were great. The problem is there's not enough of that in this season. Like you said, it's barely 3 episodes, maybe, in total, that we have with these character constellations. And then Saitama, at the end, as usual, arrives and delivers the final punch to the strongest monster, which is as anticlimactic to us as it is to him this time. Because, there's one cool shot in that, but aside from that, it doesn't really, like, look super great, which, like, the first season had. And that's the problem. Like, we want to follow Saitama's road. It doesn't have to be an action-packed road, but we want to follow his character through, like, figuring out what he actually wants to do. And then on the side of that, which is nice, having all the other characters, like Genos, like maybe Blizzard, like Garou in this regard, like King, coming into contact with him, and then maybe that also changes something about their life. And I assume that will happen when Saitama and Garou, they clash this season, very short, and it goes as you expect. But there's probably something more coming down the line, because I imagine Garou will be going strong, will get stronger, and maybe they have a face-off again. We'll see. The problem is there's just not enough interesting stuff in there. It's mostly focused on the Monster Association. All the machinations of the Monster Association are so fucking bog standard evil guys.
Gyoro is so boring. He's just so not that interesting.
And the funny thing is, Saitama remarks on that, right? Like, when they talk to each other, he's like, blah, 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 blah. I've heard this before. Or, like, I don't even know if he talks to Gyoro, or maybe Garou is that and says, like, I hate people, like, who sit at the top and talk about this shit. Yes, that's Garou who says that. It's like, to do all the shit in the background or whatever. And later, when Saitama fights against Orochi, it's like, oh, God, yeah, I deliver your villain speech. I've heard this a million times. Get it over with. And that's funny, I guess. But that's also, like, if that is still in the show, that's still a problem. Like, you can point that out, and that can be funny, but you're still doing it. Like, it's still in there. And I agree with Saitama and Garou in regards to, we have already heard these kind of speeches and these scheming and everything a million times, and it doesn't really add anything super, especially when it comes to that, anything super special or comedic in this season. It's just, aside from the name stuff and everything, and there's some funny bits in the individual fights, I guess, that are quirky. But, all the stuff in the background and how it comes into play before the fight actually happen, and the characters come to clash, is just super boring. And not only on the Monsters Association side of things, also on the Hero Association, like on the hero side of things, because you mentioned it, John, there's so much fucking talking about how they are gonna attempt to get into, where's the monster association? They're in the city, and what are we gonna do? How do we get in there? And it's just a whole episode, at least.
Who are we gonna send? How are we gonna infiltrate them?
No one fucking cares. No one gives a shit about that.
The viewer doesn't care. The characters don't care.
Yes, exactly. Like, again, it's this thing like, your characters don't care. Why should we care? Like, yes, this is a parody in a lot of aspects, and it's fun pointing these tropes out when it comes to action shows, when it comes to shonen action shows, when it comes to superhero shows. It's fun for a couple of times to do that, but then you need to do something else and get over that shit, because this has already been pointed out to us and we get the message. Now do it differently. And they don't do that in the season. It's just them talking about this shit, and it just bogs down the pacing of the show. And that's not even a problem of the adaptation, because that shit is in the manga. And that is a problem that the manga has. Like, the Garou storyline, the Monster Association storyline, goes on way too long. It was one of the big complaints, as far as I've read up on it, that people had when it came to the adaptation from the web to comic, whatever, to the revised Tankobon version that Murata did the art for and everything. And this, especially this arc, going on for way too long and way too little of Saitama in it. And that is already noticeable in this season. The problem is we're not done with this shit yet. The way this goes, apparently, at least for the Garou storyline, we have 2 more seasons of this.
2 more?
2 more seasons of this.
Oh my god.
So, we'll see. I hope it moves on a bit faster after this, but apparently not. It's probably going to be 24 episodes until the Garou storyline is finished, and I hope Saitama will be in more of that, because we're now technically done with the Monster Association stuff, at least. They're all done for. So
yeah, I mean, all that's left is to take out Gyoro, and then what's going to happen to their structure? They're just going to, who cares?
Yes. That's also anticlimactic, because we get introduced to a lot of potentially cool monster guys with cool powers and everything. But, that's funny. A lot of them are just built up as these super dangerous, monster guys. And then they're just not only by Saitama taken out in one punch, but also by our other characters. And, that kind of is funny too. But also it's like, okay, I get it. I get the joke. So can we please move on? And there's some moments in there in fights that look cool, genuinely cool. Like JC staff doing their darndest to make parts of this look really good. Like, there are definitely a lot of parts where you absolutely notice the shortcuts. Like, there were moments in this show, and I don't think I have consciously ever noticed this in any other show. There were moments in this show where you hear sound effects from stuff that was ostensibly on the storyboards but never got animated. And the sound effects are in there of additional punches, of additional blasts, of whatever, but they're not in the actual show. They're not in the actual scene. You still hear them, but they're not there.
That I don't think I realized.
Absolutely, John. There were 2 or 3 scenes where I noticed, what is that sound effect? Why is that in here? That's not what's happening on screen. And I was like, oh my god. Did the character in the storyboards or in the manga actually do more moves than this, and they didn't have time to animate this? Oh yeah, that's absolutely what happened. And that was crazy to me. You hear the sound, like I said, of a multi-hit combo, but nothing like that is happening on screen. And definitely some other stuff like that too. And I was like, wow, okay, definitely some corners were cut here, and definitely stuff was rushed, and they didn't have the time to finish this. That is crazy. Maybe it will be on the Blu-ray. Who knows? But it definitely not in the TV version. But aside from this shit, from this obvious stuff, and some of the weird still frame shit, like Garou sliding down in a still frame a hill.
Oh my god.
Which has been memed to death.
That I feel like they could fix that with one thing. Just put the dust cloud under his feet, and it would have actually implied that he was in motion, but they didn't do that. There's so many other weird animation foibles. Like there's one scene where they're in the meeting room just talking, and it's not noticeable if you're watching it with the contrast or the brightness turned down, but if you turn it up just a little bit too much, you can see that they probably meant for it to pan down further in the frame than it was, because part of Atomic Samurai's top knot is cut off in the frame.
Yeah,
it's
crazy.
cut off.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's so many there are some that I look at and I'm like, okay, maybe that's an animation error. There's some that I look at and I'm like, guys, how much AI did you use?
Yeah, I want. Like, is that confirmed that they did that in the season?
I don't think they're going to out and say at this point, because they already know how bad of a job they did this. I believe one of the directors was catching so much flack that they deactivated all of their social media. So, which, like, a lot, man. So I'm going to talk about the one of the fights that I actually liked before I get mad at the animation quality.
Because there's the fight there, right? There, when the action hits, some of it doesn't even look that bad.
The fight between Child Emperor and Phoenix Man, what a blowout. Oh my God. That whole episode was like, they just went so crazy with it. Like every time they thought he was down, he was like, I'm back. And it goes like one step further than you would have thought. And that whole sequence was insane. And I was genuinely like, okay, this is the good stuff. And then, God, what else was there that was actually good? Not a whole.
The fight between Garou, like his short clash with some of the monsters in episode 3 looked good. There was some nice camera.
That was pretty good
when he gets knocked out the first time, right? And his fight against Pochi and Orochi has some pretty neat shots. And I guess the like aside from the Kid Emperor stuff. The visually most impressive fight is probably Flashy Flash versus the two monster ninjas, which is a really neat kinetic battle in like this big hall with stairs and a lake and everything. Some good camera movement and choreography. But even that one had some very visible shortcuts. Like, bless JC Staff for giving the absolute best, but it just can't match the precedent set by Madhouse. There are definitely some moments where it's like you have this neat camera movement and they use CG and everything to make it, which is a wise choice in that regard for the environments to pan around. But then they suddenly switch to just this basic 90s ass speedline background. And it just looks so much less kinetic and interesting. And it's like, why did you do that?
There's a still shot in there where honestly it looked like Flash's neck was broken before they punched up in on his face, and it looked like normal. I mean, the bit of the fight that we saw between Atomic Samurai and, Jesus Christ, what a name, Black Sperm.
Yeah, that was also cool.
That had some cool in there, because like, what is he going to do when all he knows how to do is cut thing with blade against enemy that will infinitely multiply? Like there is something dynamic and cool to that.
There were definitely some cool ones, but there are also some really bad looking ones. Like when the low tier, like the AT heroes arrive, who have partially cool gimmicks, but all fighting against all that cannon fodder monster cannon fodder. That looks so bad. Like, even though I like
Mizuki in particular.
Yeah, but I liked her sport gimmick, but her fight just does not look good. And there was this obvious shortcut, I think, in the Zombie Man fight, like where he and the monsters walk behind a pillar and then they get killed there and you don't see anything and just walks out of that. It was like, okay, guys, come on.
I want to talk about that part a little bit between the fight between Zombie Man and Vampire.
Yeah.
because we're cutting between still shots of them speaking to each other, and their character designs are constantly changing. The amount of damage on Zombie Man's clothing is constantly changing. Whether or not there's blood on his face is changing. The amount of blood is changing. And all of that sequence, and there's other ones too as well, like with Mizuki. Like there's one part where from one frame to the next, the bandage on her face disappears and it's just entirely gone. There's another scene where it looks like she has 3 boobs, and I look at all these and I'm like, no, it really looks like that.
Okay.
And I'm just looking at it and I'm like, this has to be. It has to be they threw this through AI and said, here you go, have a good time. There's that one scene towards the end where Saitama is walking up on Orochi, and it just doesn't look right. It looks like that was spit out by a machine too, man. It just doesn't look right. It looks completely inconsistent from all of the other shots surrounding it. And I mean, is that possible when you have different people animating different things? Sure, but they got to be sending notes to one another on how to make things look, and that just like stuck out like a sore thumb. I'm like, no, this isn't right. This isn't right. There's a whole bunch of this that isn't right, and they tried to shortcut it by putting it through. I don't know what AI does animation quote unquote best, but they clearly chose one and were like, here you go, animate our show. Yeah, this is how we're spending the money that Bandai Namco gave us. Wow, what a good use of resources. And look how great it turned out. Everybody hated this season, dude.
Yeah, I know.
It's the lowest rated season on MAL for whatever that's worth, but...
Yeah, I wonder if we'll get more of this after that, because like if you look at what is coming next in the manga, we're gonna get 2 seasons more of this, and so also the laziest thing that they could have possibly done. Oh, what's the key visual for season 3 part 2? Put it in a mirror. Yeah. That was so funny.
Jesus Christ. I'm just looking at it and I'm like, okay, all right, so you just don't care.
Yeah, it definitely feels like they were slacking off. Like they were just either they didn't have enough time because it wasn't given to them by the production committee, or they didn't have the skills, or they didn't want to. I don't know what, or if it's all 3 or whatever. I can imagine the pressure, or I can't imagine the pressure, but it's was probably there, like the fan expectations and everything. But also, like, whatever they did didn't work. Like, there is some stuff in this season I liked. I did not completely hate it. Like, it was nice meeting certain characters again. It was nice having the comedic bits with Saitama. They were good. Like, they were fun. Like, there's this moment where, like, every time Blizzard Fubuki talks to him, like, his eyes glaze over, and then Geno's creator brings him some A-grade meat, and he's just completely like, hey, I want to talk to you. Like, it's like, I'm all ears to what you have to say. Like,
Professor Kuseno bribing him with meat. Oh my god, that was so good.
Yes. There's a lot of stuff in there. Like, the second fight. I think it's the second fight of a Zombie Man against the homeless guy, where he lets him tell his entire origin story just to regenerate himself as much as possible, which was like really cool trick. And he's like, "Fuck, he finished too soon. I'm not done regenerating." And you understand?
Yes.
Oh, that's what you were doing. While letting him monologue, oh, okay, I get it. So that was super fun. I liked these. There were definitely some good beats and pieces in there, and some of the fight scenes looked actually decent for, what JC Staff is able to do compared to what Madhouse was able to do with season 1, which is almost not comparable. But still, like they put the work in some scenes, but just. The baseline is so low in this. Like, there's so much aggravating shit, especially the pacing, which is coming from the manga, but also you probably could have sped up. Like, do you need the conversation of the heroes in that room? Like, does that need to be in there? No. You can just, like, one of the characters, like, one of the heroes say, yeah, we discussed this, and this is our team, and we're gonna goof off the monsters. You saved, like, 1 or 2 episodes of this shit. Like, of bad pacing. And maybe they wanted to stay as faithful as possible, or maybe they were like, hey, we need to have some episodes in here that have barely any animation in them because we already like stretching ourselves thin over the couple of episodes that have action scenes in them. So we need more time or whatever. I don't know. But it definitely feels like that this shouldn't have been in here. Because like, hey, if you're adapting it, I'd rather you improve upon the source material than being absolutely faithful. Like, and this was one of the situations where they could have done that. There's so many moments in this season where I was yelling, cut! Right? And they didn't do it. They didn't do it. Like, they didn't, like, speed it up in the moments where they definitely could have. Like, there's so many conversations among the monsters that didn't need to be in there. There's so many conversations among the heroes that didn't need to be in here. Not even to have some of the funny jokes in there. Like, okay, yeah, we're missing out on some of that stuff, but the pacing would be so much better. So, that just not a good adaptation in that regard. And sure, I was happy to meet some of the hero characters again, like Puri Prisoners. I'm glad he's back. Tatsumaki is always fun, and Fubuki is fun, and, you know, the two old guys, and whatever. Like, there's so many fun characters, but my favorites are barely in this. Like, Genos, barely in this. Saitama, our main hero, barely in this. Like, again, also, fault of the manga material, but even more so, reason to, in the adaptation, get quicker to the parts of the story where they back and focus again. So why they didn't do that and why they didn't try to speed this shit up, like Fire Force doing this even though they don't have to, right? Where we like, both of us were like, hey, maybe we don't want to skip out on all this stuff because we like a lot of these characters and there is enough action in there and so on. But in this, we don't get this.
It's so weird that they have the exact opposite problem from one another, man.
Yes, and like I said, the previous part of Fire Force Season 3 had some moments where it went too slow, and that was mainly in the fights, where the fights went on too long, and all the interesting character stuff felt like it was cut short. And here we have kind of the opposite problem, where the fights themselves kind of have a decent pacing. Like, they're not too long, they're not too short, most of them anyway, and most of them are animated well enough, not all of them, but at least half of them, that you get a good time while watching them. But everything around it is like a slog, aside from the few good Saitama scenes. And you're like, hey, you could have just skipped that shit, right? You could have just quickened that up. You could have just taken that out. That would have been fine. Why didn't you do that?
Nope, gotta be 100% accurate to the manga.
Yes, so that is probably the main problem. Like, this is a storyline that is 3 times too long, probably. We'll see if we get the rest of it, which is not certain at this point, considering how the 3rd season was evaluated by the fan base, everyone who watched it. So I don't even know. Maybe we'll have another studio switch because the production committee is like, oh, we can't have this go on, even though they're probably the ones who caused all this in the first place because they didn't want to wait for Madhouse to have a free slate for it again. And I believe Shingo Natsume tried to, like, he wanted to do the 2nd season, but had other projects lined up first, and because they didn't want to wait for him to be available again, they made it change studios. And I think, I might be mistaken, but I think that's what happened. I think this was on the production committee this side of things, like this switching from Madhouse to JC staff and changing directors and everything. So this is probably on them, and also maybe now they be like, oh, okay, maybe we'll switch it again to another studio, but that might also make it worse. I don't fucking know.
That would then be them admitting to their fault, and you can't do that.
Yeah.
So as much as it would be nice to see it go back to a more capable studio, and I hate to say that because JC staff has shown the capacity to do good work.
They even have shown it in this season, partially. There are, like I said, some moments where they do good work. The problem is it's all dragged down by the bad stuff. So it's such a shame. We had so much fun with the first season, like in our youthful, innocent days 10 years ago.
Oh my god.
My youthful innocent days of 34.
Yeah, back in my youth of 31 years of age. Jesus.
But, and then season 2 was already like, and I was really, really hoping that would not to be taken down from what from what JC Staff did in the second season and everything, but I really was hoping that Mappa would, after the second season, it would switch to another more like powerhouse studio like Mappa, which is where this show should be, honestly. This is absolutely a show that Mappa should do.
Yes, but Mappa also takes on so many projects.
Yes.
So
then maybe we wouldn't have gotten Jujutsu Kaisen by Mappa, or Hell's Paradise by Mappa, or I don't know what other stuff they did in between. But hey, One Punch Man would probably have be worth it, and I'm pretty sure whoever would have been responsible at Mappa would have been able to quicken the pacing of the season up to a degree where it would have been more entertaining and, consumable and everything. And JC Staff just didn't do that. They tried to stay apparently as faithful to the manga as possible, which in this case is a real problem because the manga's pacing is shit in this arc. So, I don't know how to get out of this. I don't know if the manga's pacing gets better or the story does more interesting stuff in the coming chapters when it will be probably focus more on Garo again and not on the Monster Association stuff. That might be interesting. But also I've heard things that say differently and say just his storyline is just not that interesting. It doesn't support 3 seasons of this.
That's unfortunate because I was really interested in it.
Yes, I am as well. The show's attempt at discussing the anti-hero trope through him is interesting. But, maybe that's not enough, for the coming, 2 cores, if that is actually how long it goes. Maybe JC Staff will be like, okay, we were too faithful this season. Maybe we cut out some of the unnecessary bloat for the next 2 cores. Could be the case. Maybe we'll only get 1 because of this, and they're actually gonna fasten up the pace. Might be the case. We'll see. Maybe we won't get another season at all because everyone hated this one. And,
I mean, season 3, core 2 is slated for next year, but I'm going to wait and see who's handling the animation because if it's JC Staff again, I don't think I'm going to watch it because I don't want to put myself through this again, man.
Yeah, that's the problem. Maybe it's time to close this chapter. It would be a shame because, again, this is the show we started with. So I kind of have a nostalgic attachment to it. It has
that's understandable.
Right? It's hey, this is especially at least the first season has a special place in my heart for because of this, and I love it to bits. I think it's a fucking great season of action anime, and I would like to see how the story pans out, but also maybe I'm gonna read the manga if the animation in the anime adaptation of this story is not actually doing much to improve on the still frames of the manga, aside from having voice acting in it and everything, then I might just as well just fucking read the manga and look at Murata's beautiful drawings and everything, and we'll get through it quicker. And we'll see. We'll see what happens with the next season and what JC Staff does, and maybe it will look better, maybe not. And maybe it won't happen. It's wild to me that it took them this long since season 2 to deliver this with season 3. Maybe their card was so stacked. Maybe they had so much else to do. That's why it took so long. But if they have been working on this show for that long, and that's how it looks, and that's what came out of it, that's oof. Okay, I mean it's not the smallest studio, right?
No, JC Staff they're not a small name. They've been around forever.
Yeah. So.
When I was talking about Orphan, I went back and watched when they did the original adaptation, and
yeah, you talked about that in review.
I don't want to say they've always been like this, but they've always been like this.
Yeah. So It's wild to me that this show after the first season went to the studio. I still don't understand it. There were so many other options technically. Maybe these other studios didn't want to do it, or the production company didn't want to wait because they were afraid that the show would leave the zeitgeist or whatever, and they couldn't use to make money with the franchise anymore if they waited too long, which is understandable.
I'll say, or the production committee didn't want to put in that amount of money.
Sure, that is also a valid possibility, and it would be the most...
which is incredibly short-sighted, but
yes,
sure,
of
you
course.
do you.
It's like this approach of being, hey, you're gonna eat that slop up no matter what we how we prepare it for you. I was like, no, maybe for another
not anymore.
Maybe for another 1 or 2 seasons, but if you keep delivering this kind of product, then no, there's so much other shit to watch. And eventually you have to say goodbye if you're not having a good time with the show. And like I said, I didn't have a completely bad time with this, but this is not even stacking up to what happens in season 2. So it's like this few good scenes, the few good comedic bits with Saitama, and the few good fights in this don't make up for the bad shit that is going on in this season. Not even the great OP by Jam Project and Baby Metal, which is a powerful combo, and the song Power to the People is cool. And
I was kind of on the OP this time, but you know.
See, even that didn't work for you. It worked for me, and there are definitely some shortcuts also in this OP, where it's like just this shot of Saitama with his cape, and there's a clip show playing in his cape, and I was like, okay, all right.
Like, you know, it's a fine song, but, you know, when I think of One Punch Man, I'm always going to go back to One Punch!
Yes.
Like, because the hero is such a strong song.
Yes, the first season is unmatched in all regards. That is crystal clear. I just tried to find things I liked about this season, John.
Which is like, is that an unfair meter stick? Maybe, probably, but just the same, like...
It exists. Like
it's the best part.
I mean, they knew what they were getting into, right? Like it's like you have the template and you have to live with being measured up to that. And if you can't, like, what are you doing? Like, yes, it's your job. And come on, I partially feel sorry for you if you did your best. But also, what do you expect? Like, do you expect after that phenomenal first season that people would be just, yeah, but I'm also okay with this? Like, no. Like, if the first season didn't exist in the way it does, maybe. But
you can thank Madhouse for screwing you over.
Like, yes, well, maybe I got screwed over by the production community or themselves and AI or whatever. So,
oh my god,
maybe maybe they're also the architects of their own lives.
Like I know it's easy to blame stuff on AI in current climate, but looking at some of the stuff in this season, man, it was hard for me to not be like, no, come on, guys, this looks too much like it could be this.
Yeah. Yep. It's a bummer. This could have been such an awesome show from beginning to end, but you know, sadly it all went downhill after season 1. If you still want to watch it, John, where is it on Crunchyroll?
I think it's on Crunchyroll and Hulu. I'm not sure where else it is, but obviously it's a big popular show for better or for worse, so you'll be able to find it.
Yeah. Yes, if you want to, if you're still just want to chain yourself to this like we did for this season. And I don't know if I'll go back for the 4th one when it rolls around in a year. And maybe let's switch studios. Maybe it'll look better. I don't know, but also probably not. And I don't know if I can go through 2 more cores of this arc and not be bored out of my fucking mind. So, yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. So much promise. All of it squandered. There's like this small glimmer of hope that it might get better, but it's fading quickly. So don't want to end this first episode of the season on such a bummer note, but here we are. Hey, but we're gonna talk about more fun things again in the not too distant future.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, I hate to. I mean, I was going to say I hate to be negative again so soon after Rented Girlfriend, but we talked about Yaiba last time, and that was great. Yes, Yaiba was great. Exactly. So I guess we were overdue for multiple just stinkers this time. So there's other good stuff that we talked about that's airing this season, and then our one other episode this season was a show that I think we probably both enjoyed. So we got other good stuff to talk about, at least.
Yes. And maybe we'll be around long enough to see this adaptation, this story be redone by more capable hands. And hopefully that one will pack more of a punch. And that is a wrap on the 176th episode of Anime Brain Freeze. All the music in our podcast is from the Double Dragon Neon soundtrack by the amazing Jake Kaufman. Please go to virt.bandcamp.com and check out his awesome work. Find us where all the podcasts live, but also check out animebrainfreeze.com for our review index and more. Please leave us a review and rating on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your podcast app of choice if you can. Follow us on the socials or send an email to animebrainfreeze@gmail.com. We would love to read your feedback. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you had a good time, and please join us again on our next episode. Macht's gut.
So long, everybody. Next time on Anime Brain Freeze.
Whether discovering secret origins
or going on field trips,
family matters.